nicely. It's the Drew and Fuse Show. The Drew and Fuse Show. The Drew and Fuse Show. Yeah, they clean up nicely. Yeah.
Hello and welcome back to the Drew and Fuse Show. It's been a crazy couple weeks, and we're recording this the day before you hear it because we've ran out of time. Just how it goes. We've ran out of time.
I was out in Cincinnati this past week, and I had a full weekend's worth of work, and then took a red eye after my Saturday afternoon gig. And went out there, got to Cincinnati. Yeah, I got there like at 11. Went straight to the ball game that Fuse was working.
Right.
And then we got free tickets to go see Ying Yang Twins and supposed to be Bone Thugs, but the Bone Thugs canceled.
They canceled. I've seen Bone Thugs a lot of times, and it was busy. You know, people were there. There were a lot of people there to not only see Ying Yang Twins, but there were a lot of people in Bone Thugs t-shirts and stuff, and people were, coming into the concert and had no idea that they had even canceled. So people were bummed. I think the venue did the right thing. They refunded all the tickets, so all the tickets ended up being like free if you had purchased them.
Yeah. So they weren't just letting anyone off the streets. You had to actually have still had tickets.
You still had to have tickets, but if you bought a ticket, it ended up being free because they reimbursed you.
Yeah.
I've seen Ying Yang before, and
shout out to the scientist, DJ Scientist. Is their DJ?
That's right. He's their tour DJ. I've seen them before, and they put on a really fun show. I want to say it's like 45 minutes to an hour, but it's just very action-packed. You can tell that it's like designed by a DJ, especially a really good one, because it's just like the hits and the way they get into it and the showmanship kind of between the two of them. They like have their skits down and know what they're going to say and do, and I think that you can tell it's more polished, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a great show. I was impressed. It was outside at the Hard Rock. So it's wild because we have casinos here in California, but it's like Indian gaming, right? So you can't actually bet there. You know what I mean? They do a different style of betting. So like if you're going to play roulette, you have to get they spin the wheel like normal, and then they roll the dice, and that's what the number ends up being. It's absurd. But there they had it just regular.
Yeah.
Just like regular old gaming, just like Vegas style.
Yep. It's regular old gaming. The only difference is if you are gambling, you do not get free drinks. So that's the only difference between here and Vegas.
All right. And they had the middle center console popping off, and we wanted to get back in the air conditioning because we were standing outside for Ying Yang, and man, it was muggy.
Yeah. It was a hot one here. So they have like a center bar, which is where I've played a few times. I have mixes on Mixcloud that are live from there. And it was a packed night at the casino for sure. And it was fun. You were here in town. We just kind of...
Well, I bring it up because I wanted to tell you. So I actually did end up gambling because I was like, well, fuck it. I can actually gamble real, and took out a couple bucks, and I was on a roll. I was just hitting like full on roulette, like 3-4 numbers straight up and down. Ended up walking with $5, 500 for those of you that don't like my slang. And it was, I had a blast. It was fun. So we'll have to go there again because that was my first time there.
Basically what had happened was the money fell right out of my pocket into Drew's pocket. That's basically how it went. But, you just never know.
You like blackjack. I'm not a blackjack guy. I feel like the whole time, though, I will say they were trying to juice us. Like every time me and Fuse would sit down at a table or walk up to a table, we get even a baby streak, they would swap it out the dealer. And, I don't know. I just kept walking. I kept walking. But, maybe that's why I was able to have a little lucky streak.
Maybe. I think sometimes you win some and sometimes you lose some, and that's just how it goes.
My first time lucky streak, lucky break. But that was a lot of fun. That first day was fun. And the rest of the trip was a blast. We ended up going out downtown Cincy and jumping around and had an awesome steak. Saw a DJ out there playing, and yeah, it was dope.
Yeah, it was a short trip. We just knocked some stuff out logistically on our end, I feel like, and just kind of hung out, which was nice too. So, but yeah, and you flew back and you had a full weekend of gigs.
Yeah, full weekend of gigs, just my regular stuff, nothing too crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Same here. Had a weekend of gigs, just the normal stuff. Played Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then Sunday we flew out and went to DC, Ashley and I, and we were only there. I just got back. We're recording this podcast, and so we were there for 2 full days. We got the direct flight in. It's only like, I think on the way there it's like 45 minutes wheels up to wheels down. So like it's not a bad flight at all.
How does DC have a direct flight and LA doesn't have a direct flight?
There is some direct to LA. When I'm out there in a few weeks, I've got a direct there and back, but it's weird. They don't always offer it. I don't understand what the deal is with that. So
yeah.
But so when we got in Sunday, we had brunch with Ashley's cousins, and then we scootered around.
Right?
She had never been, no. So we scootered around to all the monuments and did all that stuff, like, and it's much bigger than people think, because she was like, oh, look, they're all like here. And it's like, yeah, they're all like, but it's a hike if you're on foot, so.
Oh, yeah, I've done that hike.
Yeah, we've scootered around and we hit them all and, just kind of took the pictures. And then we went back to the Navy Yard, which is close to where the Nats Park is, where the ballpark is there. And we kind of bopped around to some bars there, went back to the hotel, changed. I went up to the rooftop bar. Then we went to a really nice Italian meal. We took an Uber over to Georgetown, and it was called Filomena. And it's an Italian restaurant that had been there from the 80s, and they make their own pasta. There's like a little old lady sitting in the window rolling the pasta when you go in, and it's like Goodfellas style. You walk in, you go straight downstairs, and it's one of those places where they decorate it for like the seasons or themes. So if it's like Valentine's Day, it's like all done up in there for Valentine's Day, or like Christmas or whatever. They were like just in between now, so it was just like a summer, but it was awesome. It was one of the better meals that I've had in a while. It was great. Great
now,
meal.
is that an Italian food thing? Because we used to have an Italian restaurant over here that we would always joke, because it was like shit neck city. Like it just threw up all over the ceiling. It's just like, holy fuck, you have too many decorations. Like what is going on here?
I don't know. I just definitely think that some people get into it more than others, but their stuff I feel like was tastefully done. It wasn't like it either a place ends up looking like an antique shop where there's just kind of like shit everywhere and then like no organized way, or it ends up looking like an intentional like just chaos of like stuff where it's like, this is kind of awesome, but it's that
you're talking to the wrong person.
The happy medium, where if you're decorating for something, you got to go all out, because you can't have it looking like the antique shop where you got a little bit of shit here and some over there, and like, can't be that way.
Shit neck city, in my split, I was happy that half of my garage was then cleaned out because I didn't have any of the decorations laying around anymore. The Grinch over
I'm not
here,
a big
Grinch
decorating guy, and it's not because I don't appreciate the decorations. It always kind of goes back to the same thing for me, is like, I just don't want the responsibility of setting something up and then having to take it down. Extra waste of time for me.
Or storing it, for that matter.
Yeah, storing it. Yeah, totally.
You stayed down by the Nat Stadium. Now, is it my my theory on ballparks? It has to be, you have to be able to walk up, right? It's got to be good. And now, like, what's the walk up, right? So the Banks Cincinnati Reds, awesome walk up. It has like a great, you park, and then there's the bars you could go. Petco Stadium, Padres, my favorite of all. You can walk right up. So what's the walk up?
The Nats Park is very similar to the Banks, where it's like basically on either side, it's a bunch of living and then bars underneath. So it's very much similar to the setup here. We were literally a block and a half in a hotel down the street. So right outside the main gates, much like here in Cincy. It's just a bunch of bars and restaurants. They have one of the Toms, like there is in LA, downtown LA by the crypto. They have one of those. They have some other like chainy stuff in that area. They have a place called Silver Diner. There's all kinds of food and restaurant and bar options right there. So it's pretty cool. It's nice to be able to like walk to the hotel before and after the game. So because it's so hot at this time of year, so you can change or like, whatever.
And they were playing the Reds, right?
Yeah, they played the Reds. They played the Reds. We lost last night, but also before we went to the game yesterday, we got to eat lunch with stylist Chris. So we had lunch with him and Ebbets. It's like a DC like institution, like restaurant that's been there forever. More towards it's across from the United States Treasury building. So I was trying to get a loan while we were getting lunch,
Have you? I actually did the tour for that. It's interesting.
Never done it. We did tour Ford's Theater earlier in the day, and the craziest thing to me was a soldier in the Union Army during Lincoln's presidency was making $13 a month. Okay, that's the crazy part is this. They passed a constitutional bill that Lincoln's wife could redecorate the White House with a budget of $20,000. So if you do the quick math, guy making $13 a month, it would have taken him, and not spending a dime of that, it would take him 128 years to get to $20,000 a month. So not only did she spend that $20,000, she overblew it by almost $7,000. So all this political stuff they've been doing it forever, and it's just hilarious to me, like how just like, I don't know, it's just politics and it's like not changed at all. But the history of that museum was cool to see, and just to read all the stuff, around about all that, and very interesting.
Yeah, I've been there as well. I've spent a bunch of time doing a bunch of the museums and whatnot. I was just trying to be at the Treasury and see how many 𝐬𝐶𝐭 coins I could load up on. But
did they have any? Did they give you any? Did you exchange some ones for coins?
No, they want you to overbuy stuff to get coins.
Right. So, and then after the game yesterday, we met back up with stylist Chris and had a little like late night food with him, and then we went to bed. But it's always great to see Chris. He's like such a hustler, and always like when I chat with him and when I get to hang out with him, I'm always like, I need to do so much more. So it's always good to have people that make you feel that way.
Yeah, that's my goal in life. Well, action packs, gotta earn them miles somehow, and so that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had good gigs this weekend too. Like my Saturday night, I played at 𝐬𝐵's, and I feel like I had a really, really good Saturday night. I had a good Friday night. The Thursday night was not so good. It was just slow, and then just had a group of the worst. Like it was decently busy in the bar, and then this group of like 5 girls comes in, and they're all can barely stand drunk, and they're so loud and obnoxious that everybody else is looking at them. And I'm just kind of playing background music at this time because I'm like not trying to scare anybody off that's just chilling. And they ran everybody off because they were so loud and obnoxious. And then, they're doing the whole, I'm the only one here, and it's like, you're the only one here because you chased everyone off, like by being drunk and annoying.
They do it on purpose. It's their only time out.
Yeah, big night out for the gals.
Yeah. I was actually going to talk about a private event that I had here recently. It wasn't as bad, but it was about the booking of it. And I wanted to bring it up because I know other DJs are going through this as well. And
would you say that this is a rant?
Hey, Drew and Fuse. Peter Griffin calling in. I want to hear what really grinds DJ's gears. Besides from Bad Bunny requests from a phone, or DJs stealing custom mashups of YMCA and Macarena and using it on their own TikToks. Hey, this week's guest, what grinds your gears?
I would definitely say this is a rant.
Maybe there'll be a rant video.
Is it a rant?
I don't know. Maybe there'll be a rant video here.
All right.
Okay, proceed.
Yeah, so I booked this private event for this one of the venues that I have, and I do all of their stuff. And they had referred me, And as I was talking with the lady, usually the venue books it, they already know what to expect. And this lady was just throwing out crazy demands. I want this. I want this. You need to do this. Wanted me to play extra hours, do something for free. And finally, I was like, let me call this lady because I might have to turn this gig down, you know? And so she was like asking for an extra hour. And I said, it's already, you know, a flat fee. This is what you get with this. It's,
Right.
Whether you do the hour or not, it's a flat fee. You're already at the minimum, whether the hour's there or not. And then, they weren't going to go anyways. There was a bunch of old people. They could barely hang for as long as they were there. And then one of the last things that she asked for was if I would give her a recording or all of the music. She wanted me to she was going to bring a thumb drive and put all of the MP3s on a thumb drive so she could pass them out to everybody that was there. And I'm like, you're hiring a service. This is what I literally told her this on the call. I said, you're hiring a service. You're not hiring. I'm not just giving you all the stuff. I don't understand what you think. You're buying all of this. I feel like you're confused on this. And I told her, you're hiring me as a service. You're hiring me as a DJ. I said, I don't own any of that music. I said, what I do own, and we've talked about this in the past, but what I do own is the creativity that I bring to it and the mixing that I bring to it and how I put it all together. So no, I'm not going to give you all of that because then there'd be no reason for you to hire me ever again. And this lady was already obnoxious. And she's like, well, what about give me the list? And I said, I don't know if my program does that. You know, I know Serato does it, obviously, but I was like, I don't know if my program does that. So I don't know if I'm going to do that. And she goes, well, if you can work it out, I'd love to be able to copy it and send it to him. And I'm like, I'll see if that's possible. Anyways, time goes by and she's just texting me. The gig goes by. Everyone's super happy. You know, I get compliments from all the old folk of, you know, thanks for not playing too loud and walking the line and keeping everybody interested. But she just starts blowing me up afterwards. Oh, where's my list? Where's this? And I said, I never promised you this shit.
Right.
Anyways, never promised you that. So anyways, I ended up blocking her.
Oh my god.
What would you have done? What would you have done? I feel like I explained it enough, you know?
Uh-huh.
It wasn't promised to you. It wasn't part of the price. I told her no in the call.
I don't know what I would have done.
That's not something I do. She just kept trying to, basically I said, no, that's not what I do. And then she said, well, can you give me this? And I said, I don't think I could do that. And again, back to what I said, that's not what I do. And then she just still had it in her mind that I was going to do that. So would you have just sent it over or do you hold it as tight as I hold it?
I wouldn't have sent it over. And if I would have, I would have deleted the names of like if I played any remixes, those would have been deleted. It would have just been like the list of the basic song and that's it. And like no edit titles, no nothing. And if that's what I was going to do, but I don't know, somebody that annoying, I don't know if I would have made it through the initial booking process to do the event.
Right.
So I feel like
I only did it because the venue, but
right,
yes.
Right. And that's what I was going to get at. I think you kind of got the short end of the stick on that one, but
yeah. And the reason I even bring it up in the rant is because leading up to this, I had 2 or 3 other clients say that DJs had offered full recordings of their weddings and that they were sending them the full recording of the weddings. But DJs, this is part of the rant. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Seriously, why is that something that you're offering? It's not. No one wants that. It's not. No, who's listening to that with the talking in the middle of it and just.
Yeah, no, that's a no for me.
I just don't understand why you're doing that. And I would love to know what benefit you see in selling the only thing that you really own is your intellectual property of how you put it together. Why you would give that away to where technically someone doesn't really need to book you again. I know every party's different, but in theory, you know, they could just put that on at a party.
I feel like so many guys are just trying to figure out the next thing of something they can offer, you know, as a reason to get booked. And it's like, you know, if you want a discount, you know, like here's how it is. Louis Vuitton is a top premium brand, right? They don't offer discounts for their shit. You either pay the price for it or you don't buy it. Or if you really want one and you can't afford it, you buy the knockoff, which, you know, you buy the Drew and Fuse Show knockoffs if you can't afford us. But
or we are the knockoffs, I think, sometimes.
Maybe. Yeah, we can't afford the Killers, so you got me who's playing the Killers.
I just exactly what you're saying. I just don't see why you would want to sell or give away the very thing you're getting paid to do. And
Yeah.
it just defeats the purpose. Here's one more thought I have of it, but defeats the purpose of them booking you again. But also my other thought on it is, what if it sucks? What if the night's bad? And now you just promised them like a digital copy of their reasoning for why it was bad, you know? In the middle of the party when everybody's drinking, you can't pinpoint anything, but now you're just giving them the copy of it all.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be doing that. It's one thing to put out a live mix from it or whatever, like, you know, an hour to kind of have an example or 30 minutes to have an example of your work.
Of course.
But to give the whole thing is weird. It's also just some people just are annoying and just want the most. And you just had one of those, unfortunately, you know?
Right. Yeah, and she was a red flag from the gate. So, you know, I blocked her. I don't have to see her again. She can go complain all she wants. I really don't care.
Yeah, that's a rough one. Sometimes you just got to suck it up, be nice in the moment, and, you know, chalk it up to kind of what it was afterwards. Like, sorry, you know.
That's what I did. Yeah. And before we get into talking about music, I actually spent yesterday going through music, and I deleted about 500 tracks. And it's impossible, really, to just find ways to sort this and start going through it. So I started attacking it for everything that was not genred. And then I started looking up odd-tiled genred, right? Like dance electronica.
Oh, yeah.
You know, just like little stuff where it's a red flag for me to go through. And yeah, I was able to get through a lot more stuff, get through, you know, tons of stuff to delete and
organization is key. And the way I do my organization is kind of like a little different than the way you do yours, but it's like I have to go through every so often and move stuff to a way that, or a place that's like, you know, I still have it if I want it, but like it's not in the way. And you know, organization is key to staying on top of things, especially with dance floor, you know. And there are different ways to do it too. Before we talk a little music, I just want to make sure to say we do have a Patreon now, so if you guys haven't signed up, it's $9.99 a month. If you don't want to do a monthly option, I just switched it to so now you can sign up for a year all at once, and you get a 10% discount if you sign up for the year. So there's that. Sometimes I like just paying the $9.99 monthly for stuff, and then other things I like just buying and knowing that I have. But we've got some more plans with the Patreon soon. The workload of like the Patreon kind of, you know, it's kind of helps support the podcast so we can do more, which you guys probably noticed we have been doing a lot more with it. But, you know, there's just certain weeks where we're heavy gigging and all that, so we don't get to as much. But again, we try to update it weekly with something, and we're going to keep doing that. And, you know, hopefully you guys have been enjoying it. We've been getting a lot of positive feedback with it and all that so far, so we appreciate that. With that being said, you can use the promo code 𝐿𝐴𝐻 It'll get you 30% off your first month to directmusicservice.com. So if you haven't signed up for DMS yet, go do that.
Yep. And that's actually what we're going to talk about today for music picks is some just recent DMS picks, just recent stuff that's on the site that we downloaded and have been playing at our gigs. So roll that clip. There is a DMS clip, one DMS picks of the week.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the DMS. DirectMusicService.com's picks of the week. Drew and Fuse, hit up with your top picks.
There it is. Wow, it was a great video. Wow, look at that. Wow. So the music's just in a weird place right now. I think we can all agree that the way stuff has been being released and coming out, it's just harder. It's getting harder to find the hits. So we're just going to talk a little bit of stuff that we like that's been on the site in the last, we'll say 30 days-ish, and stuff that we just kind of want to highlight and point out. And I'll kick it off. Pete Downs done a lot of refresh edits that have been up on the site. I mean, he's done tons. and tons of refresh.
Tons.
And the one that I'm picking to start off with is Alexandra Stan, Mr. Saxo Beat. This song always still works for me. I like playing it just at all different parts of the night, depending on the situation. But it's a song that I love, and I think Pete did a really good job just refreshing this one and making it, not ruining it, keeping it really close to the original. And
yeah, just a little bit more mastered correctly. And I play it every single night, literally every single night. It works. I actually was out seeing Even Steven. He didn't play it, but someone else played it like when we were bouncing around, and yeah, it was like peak hour and it was crushing. So it's a good one. I don't have anything very super specific, but this is trending right now. The Burnout I redid Stacy's mom. We have an ongoing joke out here that there's certain high school that we play at, they always want Stacy's mom. So it's nice to actually have a version that hits. And I was doing that emo night, and this was a big song during that emo night. So this is a great retake on it.
Yeah, I feel like he just added, that was on my list here that I was going to bring up, but I just feel like he added a little more current sound without ruining the vibe of the original. And I think it's a really good remix, and it fits in with all the other like rock-esque remixes that he's done and like Moonlight has done, and that whole sound. So it's really good. My second pick here, shameless plug, Ariana Grande versus Chris Lake, Break Free, Daft's Savannah VIP bootleg. So we've really recently done a bootleg of Ariana Grande, Break Free, and then Savannah was released, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing, got to do something with it. And then I just flipped it with the Break Free because it was the same key, and I can't get enough of that new Chris Lake.
Yeah, that bootleg specifically on my past weekend was really big because they wanted house, but they didn't fully want house. They wanted it, but they needed it to be familiar, and it was the perfect like combination. And so I really like that one a lot. And just that whole Chris Lake album's been trending and doing really well. Toxic and Psycho, and
yeah,
I think
the early one that I have another one here on my list that I just picked from it, and it was the Chris Lake and Abel Balder, Ease My Mind. That one's one of the early singles he released from it, and it's like that like indie kind of sound. It's like the indie house crossover, and man, that one's a vibe, and that one's like awesome to me. The whole album's really good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
it's nice.
It's really
Chris
good.
Lake finally make his own album instead of other people's.
Well, that's how he's getting his shine right now. He's able to do that. But yeah, that album's great. Check out that album. Let's see. I do like that Ease My Mind. I have a bootleg. I have a couple different versions of it, but I've been playing the original.
Yeah, and then Zillionaire. I'm pretty sure Zillionaire flipped a version that's on DMS too. That's got Adam Port Move over top of it, so it's the Move vocals over top of Ease My Mind. So
you actually just said it. That's exactly the one that I was thinking of.
Yeah.
But that Adam Port, I think I have way too many remixes. But with all my residencies, it's nice to be able to change it up. But I have so many versions of it, and I still think I end up playing the original mostly. Yeah, it depends on what time of the night I play it. But yeah. All right, you got another one?
Yeah. So just kind of reiterating the same thing I've already said. Pete Downs done a lot of these refresh edits, and he did the Edward Maya Stereo Love, which is more a vibey track, but I really like that song, and for like early parts of my night at certain places it fits really well. So having a refresh of that is very helpful, and I've been playing that one a lot as well. So I
play them back to back, Saxo Beat and Stereo Love. And Stereo Love a lot of times will get a bigger woo. They both hit, but that Stereo Love, people are excited, and that he did it. He did it exactly the right way, like the way it comes in. So I love that edit. Just some honorable mentions. My buddy Tommy Marini, he did one just recently. It's the Toxic. It's another Chris Lake with Drake. What is it? Are you gonna go my way? No. And it's Fetty Wap with Drake. It's both.
Yeah. Are you gonna go my way is Lenny Kravitz.
All right, Lenny Kravitz. Well, anyways, that's a good one. But this one he just put out is it's another weekend. Real McCoy with Liza Rose. Just cool pool house vibes. I know a lot of DJs are doing right now, and there's so much of that on DMS right now. Cool, just great pool house vibes. Zillionaire's always killing it with that, and there's a ton of house on the DMS right now.
Yeah.
For that stuff.
My other mention was going to be another Zillionaire remix. He did the Sixpence None the Richer, Kiss Me, but he did his like whole piano house remix of it, and I really like that. I think that's like a sleeper song that like you could play and like people would think it's cool because it's not something I would normally play, but having that remix, just a way that you can play it that kind of makes it sound a little more current and fit into the set. I think it's cool. We did a Daft's bootleg of it too. That's a little more low tempo, so I think that one's like around 105. Zillionaire's remix is like 124. So again, different options for different situations. I was chatting back and forth with Diggs, and Diggs recently did a No Broke Boy, the My Neck, My Back. I was like, Diggs, I keep hearing this in my head, and he made it come to life. So that's another good pick, another good Diggs edit. Just a different way to work a song in that could be, or make it like where the first drop is the original and the second comes into the My Neck, My Back, or whatever, however you want to do it, just to spice something up.
Yeah, and I wanted to give Grant a shout out on this Steve Winwood, Higher Love. He did it with a kind of like a R&B blend versus Just in Case. So yeah, check that one out. It was really cool. It's a different little vibe, but I could definitely see playing that.
Yeah. A lot of different things on the site. If you guys haven't been on DMS, we have a lot of exclusive editors. We have stuff up there. Simo, Diggs, Scooter. Scooter's been big on the country kick, so if that's your thing, you can check some of those out. Grant, Audio One,
Throwback Brothers.
Yeah, I've been posting a lot of disco stuff lately from him. So lots of options out there.
Yeah. Just a little taste of what we've been playing and some of our picks.
Yeah.
So go sign up, use the DAFS code, and think we're going to keep this one short because we've been hustling. We've been doing some behind the scenes stuff, but we're just want to make sure we don't miss an episode, get something out.
Yeah. And we'll have a few edits for you guys in the Patreon this week, but everything that we've specifically mentioned is up on DMS. So if you haven't signed up yet, make sure you go grab that. I can put the list in the Patreon too, just so you guys have the list of what we talked about on here, so it'll be easier to go find and download. But other than that, we've been every day we're hustling, and we're tired. We're not retired.
It was a busy week. So thank you for listening, and we appreciate you. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all she wrote.
And now you're gonna hear another video. Peace.